Hey there, deep divers. Get ready, because today we're going to do a deep dive that flips the script on how we think about gratitude and service.
Yeah, we're going to explore some ideas that just might turn your usual perspective upside down. It's all based on this really fascinating transcript of a talk on spiritual practice.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's dive right in. So, we usually think about gratitude as something we feel towards someone who helps us out, right? Someone
Yeah.
holds a door open for us, we say thanks.
Exactly. But in this philosophy, it's actually the person doing the serving, the server who's overflowing with gratitude, not the person on the receiving end.
Whoa, okay, that's a total mind bender. So if I'm getting help, I shouldn't be grateful. That feels counterintuitive.
It's not that you shouldn't feel grateful, but the emphasis is really on the server's gratitude as a key part of their practice. We can kind of
Mhm.
illustrate this. The speaker in our source material tells this incredible story about doctors who volunteer at eye camps. They perform these life-changing surgeries to restore people's sight.
Wow, that's amazing. I can only imagine the patients must be so grateful.
Yeah, you'd think so, right? But here's the twist. It's the doctors who express immense gratitude towards the patients. They see it as a privilege to be able to serve and help alleviate suffering.
Hold on, that's almost backwards. I
Yeah.
mean, they're the ones with the medical expertise, putting in the time and the effort. Why wouldn't the focus be on the patient's gratitude for receiving this gift of sight?
That's exactly the point. This philosophy challenges our assumptions about who, quote unquote, deserves gratitude. The doctors recognize that it's the patients who are giving them the opportunity to use their skills to contribute to something larger than themselves. It's about recognizing the inherent value in every being and seeing service as a gift in itself.
Okay, that's starting to click for me. It's not about a transactional exchange,
Yeah.
like, oh, I did this for you, now you owe me thanks. It's a much deeper recognition of interconnectedness and the opportunity for growth that service provides. It's like gratitude for the chance to connect with our own humanity through helping others.
Exactly. And this feeling of gratitude, it extends beyond just the act of service itself. It includes a deep appreciation for the community of servers, the fellow travelers on this path.
Right. The source material talks about this incredible diversity of people who dedicate themselves to service. You've got doctors sweeping floors, factory owners cleaning toilets. It's amazing.
It really is. And what's fascinating is that it's not about everyone having the same skills or background. It's about this shared willingness to put aside ego and status to serve together. It creates such a strong bond between people.
That makes me think about how we often compartmentalize our lives. We have our work selves, our family selves, our social selves. But in this community, it's like all those walls come down, right? Because there's this unifying purpose that goes beyond those roles.
That's a great observation.
Mhm.
And that sense of belonging, of being part of something meaningful, it becomes a kind of refuge, a refuge from the pressures and demands of the outside world.
It really makes you wonder if our own communities provide that kind of support and shared purpose, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, shifting gears a bit, another fascinating aspect of this philosophy is the idea that service is a transformative process. It's not just about doing good deeds, it's about interchange.
Okay, I'm all ears. Transformation sounds pretty profound. How does that work?
Well, think about the classic example of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. It's a powerful analogy for how we can change through service.
I love that analogy. The source material describes it so vividly too. First you have the caterpillar just munching away on leaves, totally content in its little world.
Exactly. But then something shifts, an inner calling maybe. The caterpillar gets this urge to change, to evolve. It starts building a cocoon, even though it doesn't fully understand what's happening.
It's like a blind trust in the process of life, right? Surrender to the unknown.
Yeah. And within that cocoon, a complete metamorphosis takes place. The caterpillar essentially dissolves. It surrenders completely to this messy, unknown process.
It sounds like it has to let go of everything it knows to become something new. That takes a lot of courage.
And from that surrender, something beautiful emerges. The butterfly, free to soar to new heights and experience the world in a completely different way.
Okay, I'm with you so far, but how does this relate to service? Are we all supposed to build metaphorical cocoons and just wait for transformation to magically happen?
Not quite. Think of meditation and selfless acts as our cocoon. Each time we engage in these practices, we're stepping into a space of surrender. We're making an effort to transform ourselves.
So it's not passive. It requires active participation and effort. But I imagine, like with the caterpillar, that transformation isn't always easy or comfortable.
You're absolutely right. The source material emphasizes that service can be messy, it can be difficult. We might be asked to do things we're not good at, to push our limits. But that's where the real growth happens.
It reminds me of the saying, growth happens outside of your comfort zone.
Exactly. It's in
Yeah.
those moments of challenge that we have the greatest opportunity to break free from our old patterns and embrace new ways of being.
Welcome back, deep divers. It's amazing how these teachings really challenge our conventional understanding of gratitude and service, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I'm still kind of processing everything we talked about in the last segment, especially that idea that the real gift of service, it lies in the transformation it sparks within us. Absolutely. And speaking of transformation, our source material, it goes on to emphasize this crucial role of both surrender and effort in this journey of interchange.
Okay, that's interesting. It sounds like a little bit of a paradox. How can we both surrender and make an effort at the same time?
It's a delicate balance, for sure. Think back to that caterpillar analogy. It has to actively build the cocoon, right? But then it surrenders to that process of transformation within. Similarly, we engage in service, we meditate, we put in the effort,
Mm.
but then we have to trust that process, let go of our expectations, and allow the change to happen naturally.
So it's not about forcing anything, but rather creating the right conditions for growth, like
Hmm.
like tending a garden. You plant the seeds, you water them, but ultimately you can't force them to grow.
Exactly. And just like a garden, there will be moments of discomfort, unexpected challenges, and times where we might feel like we're not making any progress at all. The source material actually compares this process to being cooked by Master Chef,
Cooked, that doesn't sound very pleasant.
right? It implies heat, pressure, even a little bit of discomfort. But that's how we transform. That's how we shed those old patterns and limitations to reveal our true potential.
I guess it's like that saying, no pain, no gain, right? But I'm curious, what does it actually look like to surrender to this process of being cooked?
Well, it means, showing up consistently, even when it's really challenging. It means letting go of the need to control the outcome, trusting that that divine hand is at play, even when we don't fully understand it.
There's that phrase again, divine hand. It feels a bit mysterious. Could you elaborate on that?
It's not about a supernatural being dictating our every move. It's more about recognizing that we're part of this larger web of interconnectedness. Our actions, they have ripple effects we can't always see or predict. And when we act with that selfless intention, those ripples, they can lead to these unexpected outcomes, sometimes even miracles.
No, it's about trusting that there's a bigger picture unfolding, even if we can't always grasp it.
Exactly. And as we cultivate that trust, we naturally develop a deeper sense of humility. We realize that our individual efforts are just one small part of this grand tapestry.
It's like realizing we're not the soloists in their orchestra, but rather part of a larger symphony. Each instrument is just playing its part to create something beautiful and harmonious.
That's a beautiful analogy. And with that realization, we we begin to shift our focus from what's in it for me to how can I best contribute to the whole.
That makes sense. So it's not just about the inner transformation. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and
Hmm.
playing our part in something much bigger than ourselves.
Precisely. And here's the amazing thing. As we shift our focus and continue to serve, we start to notice some pretty tangible benefits in our own lives.
Like what? Besides becoming a more patient and humble person.
Well, for starters, we develop new skills. You might become a better organizer, a more effective communicator, or discover these hidden talents you never knew you had.
So service becomes a kind of training ground for personal growth.
Exactly. And those skills we acquire through service, they they aren't limited to that specific context, right? They can
Hmm.
translate into our work, our relationships, and all areas of our lives.
It's like the source material says, sometimes we may have to take risks we wouldn't normally take, and in the process, we find opportunities to grow.
Yes. And along with those new skills comes a greater capacity for patience, compassion, and understanding. Because let's face it, service isn't always easy. We're bound to encounter some challenging personalities and situations along the way.
Oh, absolutely. It's not all sunshine and roses, but
Yeah.
but I guess those challenging encounters are actually opportunities to practice what we're learning, right? To flex our compassion muscles, so to speak.
Exactly. It's like service becomes a mirror reflecting back to us those areas where we need to work on ourselves.
Yeah.
It pushes us to develop those qualities that are essential for spiritual growth.
It's interesting because it sounds like service, it isn't just about what we do for others, it's about how those experiences change us from the inside out.
You're getting it. And as we continue down this path, we become less reactive to external triggers,
Yeah.
less caught up in our own drama.
So it's about cultivating that inner peace and stability even amidst the ups and downs of life.
Yes. It's about finding that inner spaciousness that allows us to hold space for others without getting swept away by their emotions or our own.
This is resonating with me so much. It's like service it's a pathway to not only helping others but also to finding our own center, our own sense of peace.
But beautifully put. And as we experience that inner shift, our gratitude, it deepens and it expands. It becomes less about saying thank you. It becomes more about a deep appreciation for the opportunity to serve, to connect, to be a part of something bigger than ourselves.
I can see how words might fall short in expressing that kind of profound gratitude.
You're right. And that reminds me of a poignant story from our source material about a disciple. He wanted to thank his master for all of his love and guidance, but he couldn't find the words.
Oh, yeah, I remember that story. It's so powerful. The disciple was so overwhelmed with gratitude that he just sat there in silence.
And the master, with his infinite wisdom, simply acknowledged that sometimes words are inadequate to express the depth of our feelings.
It's like he was saying, "I understand your presence, your commitment to this path.
Oh,
It's enough."
exactly. And that's the beauty of this path. It's a path of the heart. It's not just the mind, right? It's about cultivating that deep inner connection, that connection with the divine, a connection that transcends language and thought.
Wow. That's beautiful. It's about feeling that love, experiencing that grace, and allowing that gratitude to flow through us in everything we do.
You said it. Now, before we head into our final segment, I'm curious, what has resonated with you the most so far? What stands out?
Honestly, it's hard to pick just one thing, but I think what's striking me the most is this idea that service is so much more than just doing good deeds, you know? It's a profound journey of inner transformation.
Yes.
It's a way to connect with our own humanity and tap into something far greater than ourselves. It's inspiring, really.
I couldn't agree more. It's a beautiful and profound path, and I'm excited to explore even more insights in our final segment.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've explored like how gratitude flows from the server, the transformative power of service, and that concept of the divine hand, it's really shifted my perspective.
It's amazing how these teachings can completely reframe our understanding of these seemingly simple concepts, right?
Absolutely. And one thing that's really stuck with me is this idea that we're actually the ones receiving the true gift through service. It's such a beautiful paradox.
Yeah, we think we're giving, but in reality, we're the ones being given the opportunity to grow, to connect, to contribute to something so much larger than ourselves.
It reminds me of that story from our source material about the beggar who offers a single grain of corn to the king, only to find a piece of gold in its place at the end of the day.
That's a perfect analogy. It highlights the unexpected and often immeasurable rewards that come from selfless service. The transformation that happens within us, that's the true gold.
Speaking of gold, it makes me wonder how we can even begin to express gratitude for these profound gifts. Words almost feel inadequate.
You're right, words can only go so far. The source material emphasizes that the most profound expressions of gratitude, they often lie in our actions, in the dedication and sincerity we bring to our service.
So it's less about saying thank you and more about showing up consistently, offering our time and energy, even when it's, challenging or inconvenient.
Exactly. It's about embracing the messy, imperfect reality of service and recognizing that even our smallest efforts, they can contribute to something truly meaningful.
And as we do that, as we continue to serve with a grateful heart, we naturally become less self-centered, more compassionate, more attuned to the needs of others. We begin to see that interconnectedness of everything more clearly.
It's like a ripple effect. The more we give, the more we receive, and the more we're able to give again.
It's a beautiful cycle of growth and transformation.
And remember, as the source material beautifully describes, this journey isn't a solitary one. We're all in this together. We're supported by a community of like-minded individuals who share a common purpose.
It's like we're all part of this incredible tapestry, each thread adding its unique color and texture to the overall design.
Yes. And when we come together with open hearts and a willingness to serve, we create something truly extraordinary. We tap into a collective energy that has the power to uplift and transform not only ourselves, but the world around us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with this profound sense of hope and inspiration. The teachings we've explored today, they offer a powerful roadmap for living a more meaningful and fulfilling life. It's not about achieving some grand state of perfection, you know. It's about showing up each day with a willingness to serve, to learn, and to grow.
And to allow ourselves to be transformed by the experience.
Exactly, and to never underestimate the power of even the smallest acts of kindness and service. They can have a ripple effect that extends far beyond what we can imagine.
It's like that beautiful passage from the source material where it describes how the master brings a refreshing breeze of joy that touches everyone. It's a reminder that we all have that potential to
Yeah.
be that breeze, to bring light and joy to the world through our actions.
So as we sign off today, I want to leave our listeners with a question. What seeds of inspiration have been planted within you during this deep dive? What new possibilities are you ready to embrace?
What small act of service can you do today to make a difference, to connect with your own heart and the hearts of others? Remember, the rewards are far greater than we can ever imagine.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep those hearts open wide, and never stop exploring the boundless potential of service and gratitude.